Good evening and welcome to another edition of Money Talk with Melanie. I am your business diva, Melanie Collette, and welcome. I am broadcasting live via SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio from beautiful Cape May County, New Jersey. Welcome, Seth, Liam, Jose, David. Hi, welcome. My guest today is a congressional candidate and businessman, Scott Sturgill. He is running in Florida, District 7. Very excited to have him here today. How you doing, Kevlin and Jace? Welcome to the Facebook chat. Hi, everybody out there in SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio land. Let's talk a little bit of housekeeping. If you have not followed me on the Facebook page, which has different content, on my show page, which has different content than here on my other page, my most popular page, so funny, do so at Money Talk Mel on Facebook. I'm laughing because I commented the other day on my personal page that I was thinking about getting rid of my show page, and because I was like, most everybody's on my personal page. And somebody was like, wait, this isn't your show page? I'm like, exactly. So, but I decided to keep it. But there is definitely exclusive stuff there. But I just thought that was really funny. But when I stream live, I stream on my personal page because that's where you guys like to hang out. And I post it live on the actual page too. So that's at Money Talk with Melanie. Now, if you want to follow me on Twitter, that's at Money Talk Mel. Hello, Jean and Chris James and Liam, who's in the house. Joyce, how are you? Chris Gaines from Iowa. I wonder how cold it is there. I'm complaining about how cold it is in New Jersey. Iowa's got to be freezing. I see I got a like from the one and only Ron Edwards, who is on just before this show. You'll hear him during the break for Ron Edwards' Notebook. Also has a show called The Ron Edwards Experience. If you think the notebooks are good, you should get the Ron Edwards Experience at 4 p.m. right here on SHR Media right before me. So you should definitely check that out. Oh my goodness, Chris Gaines in Iowa says it's 1 degree. 1 degree wind chill. That is not cool. I would never survive there. Not cool at all. If you're interested and being a guest on the show, you wrote a book, you are involved in politics, you are an economist, know anything about money, are an expert in your field, or an entrepreneur, please do email me at moneytalkwithmelanie@gmail.com. We can talk about you possibly being a guest on the show. Although I have to say, such a blessing. Really doing well with the guests. Just, I used to have to beg people to come on my show when it first started, and now people ask me, which is very nice. Saves me a lot of time. Hello, Archie and Steve and Lance. Hi. And Jim, I didn't want to miss you. Absolutely. You're welcome, Ron Edwards, for the shout out. And oh my goodness, 14 inches of snow where he is. That's ridiculous. Hi, Mark Reed. Well, the stock market bounced around today, as it's been doing for the last couple of days. Finally got up more than 300 points, which is great because it's been doing a little bit of a correction. And there's a number of reasons for that. First of all, it's been steadily rising, and whenever you see that, you can expect there to be a correction, which is usually around 10%. And you also have to consider how high it is. I mean, it was past 25,000. So all those things considered, I just kind of said that to say, don't panic. It's cool. It's gonna be all right. Remember, long-term investing in the stock market. Long-term investing, and don't invest in anything you can't afford to lose. But seriously, of course, the mainstream media had nothing to say when the stock market's been on a rise, feverishly since President Trump was elected. But as soon as it has a little dip, it's front page news. They're unbelievable, those people. Anywho, now it wouldn't be a show if I didn't talk about something that Amazon was doing, because I'm a big Amazon fan. I seriously fangirl Amazon, and I had to report that they're starting a delivery service, according to the Wall Street Journal. And I'm like, what? Yes, shipping with Amazon. So I'm a little bit excited because I will tell you something about Amazon. I don't know anybody who doesn't, order from Amazon, but if you do, you know their shipping's on point. I don't think Amazon has ever made a mistake, like ever, with any of my orders. Now, I got somebody else's order once, so I guess that person might not say that. Like, I got a Lego toy set, a Valentine's Day Lego toy set, which I thought was odd. So either I have some really creepy stalker, or that was an accident from Amazon. I don't know. But it's a little toy, and you put it together, and it's Legos, and it makes a heart. It came last Valentine's Day, but I'm pretty sure it was not for me. Anyway, it's just my odd story. But Amazon is starting a delivery service, and quite frankly, I think that's fantastic news. Especially since I don't want to cast aspersions on a certain delivery company, but I did have some drama with one here recently trying to get some things delivered. I was not happy. Picked up and delivered. It rhymes with FedEx. So, I know that's terrible, but I was surprised because I have been dealing with FedEx, oh gosh, over 20 years, and I never had a problem. But so maybe Amazon sees blood in the water and figured they would give it a shot. They're delivering stuff anyway. Why not? So that's the big news there. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. I am the one and only business diva, Melanie Collette. My guest today is Scott Sturgill, and as usual, I forgot to confirm the pronunciation of his name, so he will correct me when we get back. But we'll be back in 1 minute.
The monumental case against government schools continues to expand. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, on previous pages from the Edwards Notebook, and during enlightening episodes of the Ron Edwards Experience Talk Show, I've stated that government schools are the #1 enemy of America. Government school educators have for decades indoctrinated American students against God, America, the traditional family, the Constitution and Bill of Rights, and, of course, our blessed military. Gregory Salcido, a proud leftist high school indoctrinator of El Rancho High School in California, began berating Americans who joined the military. Among his numerous bigoted insults were, they're dumb, they're not high-level bankers, they're not academic people, they're freaking lowest of our low, just to name a few. All because 2 students wore Marine Corps sweaters to school. The bigoted educator badgered one of the students, high school senior Victor Quinonez, with insults like, oh no, not you too, and made him explain himself in front of the class. The leftist educator continued to verbalize his utter contempt for our great military and those who volunteer to put their lives on the line. Because Victor Quinonez dared to speak out against such leftist bigotry, he and his family have received numerous credible death threats. So much for the tolerant left. I'm Ron Edwards, sponsored by the Tri-County Liberty Coalition.
Ron Edwards, the new voice of America. Welcome back. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. I'm your business diva, aka the diva of dollars and cents. That is, thank you, Dick Herschel Griffin, for that other moniker. I really wish you had been around when I started the show, because I like that. The diva of dollars and cents. That's awesome. And welcome, Mark, Steve, Tony. Hi. But thank you for that. And my guest today is Scott Sturgill. He is running for Congress in District 7 in Florida. I'll tell you a little bit about my guest. He serves as the CEO of Durable Safety Products, where he has built a very successful safety company that has employees locally and throughout the USA. Scott recently served as chairman of the board for the Greater Sanford Regional Chamber of Commerce. Under his leadership, businesses are thriving in the region and new businesses continue to open. Scott became involved in politics after seeing firsthand how high taxes and red tape impact entrepreneurs. He's very vocal and takes a strong stand against wasteful spending and demands that politicians must adhere to the same rules as everyone else. Scott's focused on removing government barriers to private sector job creation, economic growth, cutting government spending, improving healthcare, and running government with a business mentality. He's a 4th-generation Seminole County resident. Scott and his wife, Tracy, reside in Sanford with their 2 daughters. And without further ado, welcome, Scott. How are you?
Good, Melanie. How you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. Is there anything that you'd like to add to your bio that I left out?
No, you did a phenomenal job. I think we ought to hire you.
Listen, we'll talk after the show. Oh, thank you so much. Well, listen, I'm really glad to have you here today, particularly since we're going to be talking about business and money, and that since they just passed, Congress just passed this this spending bill.
Continuing resolution.
Kinda. Yeah. Right. That's what I was right, because it's a continuing resolution. Again, why can't they get their work done? Well, first of all, before we even get into that,
I think that's the same question we all woke up with this morning. I don't know what time your day starts. My day starts about 5 a.m. every morning as a business owner. I get up early, so because I like to go through emails and stuff like that before the kids get up for school. It was apparently the Congress worked throughout the night. The government was shut down for maybe an hour. They got everything done, but they also added a bunch of debt to our national debt with this new continuing resolution. So they didn't do anything other than kick the can down the road and keep the government open. They didn't address any of the problems of the spending problem, which is what we have here in the USA. We have a spending problem. We spend more than what we take in. That's a problem. And if you ran businesses like what they're doing it in DC, you'd be out of business. It's just simple math. But it is just frustrating because as a business owner, we don't have unlimited lines of credit. You as a consumer don't have unlimited lines of credit. But but politicians in DC feel like they have unlimited lines of credit, and eventually these loans have to be paid back. Eventually we all need to be recouped from these loans, and again, you have to address the problem, and that's going to take changing the culture in DC.
Absolutely, it is. And what's frustrating is it's folks on our side of the aisle that seem to be doing all the spending. Like that was supposed to stop when Republicans started running stuff. Like what happened to that?
Yeah. Where's all these conservative voices that ran and said, you send me to DC, I'm going to stop spending, I'm going to put my foot down. Well, it was a great talking point, and I think we all kind of fell for it, and and put a lot of folks in DC who we thought had great potential, but unfortunately, I think most of them are worried about their next election versus actually getting the job done, because being in politics has now become their career, and it's how they're paying their bills. Whereas you take someone like a Donald Trump, who, again, he didn't really need the headache of being president. He was very successful in the private sector. He is doing this because he truly loves the country, and he's trying to fix it. And I don't know many people who would want to go through the headaches that he's going through, but I think what you're seeing and started in the 2014 cycle and through the 2016 cycle and continuing on is you're seeing more people from the business sector who are just kind of fed up of having supported politicians and candidates over the years who went to DC and did nothing. So you're seeing more and more business people who have, like myself, who have had success in the private sector, who now want to do something significant and give back. And if it makes us one-term representatives, that's okay, because at the end of the day, we still have our families, we still have our companies, and we can get the job done. This is not a popularity contest. This is about getting a job done and fixing it for the next generation.
Well, exactly it is. What did you think of Rand Paul and his speech that he gave? I mean, listen, not for nothing. I at least he stands up. I mean, he can be a little bit of a nudge at times, but at least he stands up. Now, what are your impressions of that? Do you think that was just a dog and pony show, or do you think he really means that? And I don't mean to judge him, but I'm just saying he's one of the few, part of the Freedom Caucus, that will actually say, "Hang on a minute, guys. We really need to not do this."
Well, yeah, no, I think, again, as a fiscal conservative, I appreciate the fact that Rand Paul is standing up and calling attention to it. He's not there. I appreciate that he's not there to just press the yay button anymore. He is there to address issues, call them out, and he doesn't care who it is. And again, I think the voters from his state in Kentucky are extremely happy the fact that he brings these issues to the forefront, and he makes all the rest of the politicians in the Senate take stand and actually have to address them. That's what his voters have put him there for. I mean, this isn't nothing new that what Rand Paul does. He's a he's a watchdog, and I appreciate the fact that he's being careful with our taxpayer money.
I do too. I do too. I feel I do too. But it's always funny when you hear about some type of delay. You're like, Rand Paul, but good for him. At least that's what I think when I hear it. I'm like, good for you for standing up, because there has to be an adult around there somewhere.
Yeah, so he's not going to be the most popular person in D.C. now. As I heard one radio commentator earlier say, he's probably not going to get invited to the best parties this weekend because he stood up to the rest of them. But at the end of the day, I don't think Rand Paul particularly cares whether he is the most popular person in D.C. He's there to do his job and report to the voters in Kentucky.
Absolutely. Indeed. I was looking over your over your website and things like that, and one of the things I saw that you're very concerned about is overregulation. And of course, President Trump has been fighting that, but it's very difficult to fight. We produce something like, 8,000 new regulations a year. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I 100% agree with the president on his philosophy. I believe he demands that they eliminate 22 regulations for every new one they want to bring in. We are a country that, the reason why we don't produce a lot of goods here anymore and why we have to produce overseas is because we are heavily overregulated at this point. We need to make sure that we are making it easier to do business. If it's easy to do business, you're going to see more jobs be created. And again, I applaud the president for having cut so many regulations during his first year. And once we go to Congress, voters, hopefully when the voters send us there in November of this year, we will be able to help spearhead and find other regulations that need to be cut.
Are there any in particular that are kind of in your sights that you're like, this is completely ridiculous, we need to get rid of this regulation and have some solution? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we manufacture our products overseas. Unfortunately, because of the regulation, the amount of insurance costs that we're required to keep on employees here has gotten so overzealous, with different federal agencies. But to give you an example, like with the harmonized tariff schedule, which is the duty that we pay when we import products, that can change on a month-to-month basis, based on customs. Sometimes these customs employees don't have enough to do. So they like to try to reclassify a lot of our products as they come in on containers, and then we have to go fight them every time with saying, well, that's the same product we've been importing for 10 years now. How did it change? So again, those duty rates will affect the consumer because it gets passed right along to the consumer. So we need to make sure that we have agencies that, make it easy to do business. They need to stop creating regulations just to give them busy work.
And, many people don't realize this, but the regulators are not elected officials. They're not people that we picked, and they literally write laws.
They write rules and regulations that impact every business and every consumer, whether you realize it or not. But you're right, they are not elected officials, and they are pretty darn tough to get someone fired, within one of these federal bureaucracies, because they are very well protected, in their agencies. And as we've all seen, over the years, you can almost kind of catch some of these federal employees stealing or absolutely committing crimes, and they still don't get fired. Look at the VA as prime example, where they were harming our veterans, by not providing them care. And again, how many of them got fired? Not many.
And I was just actually, it's a perfect transition, because I was just about to ask you about that. The VA and veterans are something that's very important to you. How would you like to see things change at the VA?
Well, again, the VA should not be in the hospital business. The VA has about 167 full-service hospitals across the country, not counting all the medical centers that they operate. They have about 360,000 employees, of which 2/3 of them are non-clinical. To me, that's great. Our veterans are there. We have a lot of veterans, still from too in the Vietnam era, and obviously Iraq and Afghanistan wars now. But we need to be making it easier for our veterans to get care. To me, the VA should operate almost like a private medical insurance program where our veterans can take a medical card, go to the provider of their choice, which is usually close to home, get great care, and be able to get their issues taken care of immediately. After all, they sacrificed for our country, they fought for our rights, and the amount of hoops that we make them jump through is preposterous. I've seen it firsthand with the care of my grandfather, who's a World War II veteran. He's 94 years old. And it got so bad to the point where my wife and I couldn't take him back to the VA anymore. Not because he didn't get great care. It's just the amount of red tape they would want him to jump through each time, or taking 6 to 8 weeks just to get him a basic appointment. That, again, they should not have to jump through those hoops. And so for that case, I want to see a full revision of the VA, and I want to see us make it easier to get our veterans the proper care they deserve.
I agree with that. I don't quite understand why this is such a problem. Like why they can't seem to get that together. Like
well, and I think we should be holding the bureaucrats within the VA accountable. If they do anything to harm our veterans, with the bonus structures where they were putting veterans on secret waiting lists, they need to be terminated immediately. And they need to be stripped of their federal pensions and all the other perks that they've gotten. They need to be held accountable once and for all, because, again, at the end of the day, our veterans have earned it and they deserve it.
To what do you attribute, or what is your opinion on how it is that those people get to stay? Does it have to do with the union? Does it have to do with those people being powerful and untouchable? Like, what is from your perspective, why those people don't get fired?
I think it's in the culture of the VA and of the different. It's not only just the VA, it's in other agencies as well. But I think it's just in the culture. I think sure, they have their unions, and not everyone wants to rock the boat. But you know what? You make an example of a few, and I think it makes others think twice before they try to violate the law or do something that will affect our veterans.
Yeah, that whole situation is completely ridiculous. Is there any way, or do you think, switching gears a little bit, but I'm thinking about the Affordable Health Care Act, aka Obamacare, and the fact that we still haven't quite fixed that. That has not really been straightened out. I mean, we repealed the mandate, but we still haven't fixed the bill, if it needs to be fixed. I mean, some people would argue, that we should just repeal it and be done with it. From a constitutional perspective, I completely agree. But from the perspective of, but it's already really interwoven into our system. So how do you just, from a political perspective, you pull that back and people suffer? That's a political disaster. So how do you see a good way to handle that at this point, since we really haven't fixed that yet?
Well, again, I think it's going to have to start with actually having conversations with doctors and with hospitals and with insurance carriers. I mean, the reason why affordable care has been a disaster is because a lot of the insurance carriers don't want to touch it because they're not making money. And let's face it, they are private entities; they want to make money. But again, this was a program that was designed by bureaucrats. It's never done the job. And so I think, you've seen more and more people drop their care because the premiums are so expensive. You need to allow buying insurance across state lines. That will, competition will drive down pricing. Unfortunately, is the way Affordable Care was designed. It was designed to not allow a whole lot of competition. And so again, you can't keep dropping the reimbursement rates because physicians don't want to take it at that point. Because again, who wants to work for pennies on the dollar? I mean, they should be, they want to be fairly compensated just like anyone else who's doing a job wants to be fairly compensated.
Of course. And I do understand what the philosophy behind that was. The philosophy behind that was socialism. But I was going to say, what? This was try to control votes, because let's face it, if you control
a socialism tactic that was implemented by the Obama administration. But the reality is the Affordable Care Act defunds in 2020, which is why you heard the president several months ago say, you know what, if Congress doesn't want to fix it, I'll just I'll let the thing run out. Well, he knows it. He knows it defunds in 2020. So that's exactly why he said it. But again, unless Congress is going to get in there and fix it, which is what they need to do, they need to actually bring the experts to the table and say, all right, what works, and do an actual negotiation.
That's a good point. Unlike what President Obama did, which was no negotiation at all. Like, just
no. Again, going back to Nancy Pelosi's famous words, we have to pass it before we can read it. Well, I don't. For me personally, as a business owner, I don't sign anything without me reading it. Without, if it's obviously more than one page, my attorneys read it. So we, but in Congress, they pass it and then they read it. And I don't think that's what any voters signed up for, was to have these so-called representatives pass things just randomly without even reading it or fighting for our best interest.
Exactly. And what I find really stunning about the whole, when we let things be defunded, or and by we I mean when President Trump does this, he's like, okay, well, it's going to be defunded, let's just let it go. Or, okay, well, this is unconstitutional, so I'm going to reverse it, or I'm going to let it expire. Everybody freaks out like he's doing something wrong. And it's like, no, he's just following the laws that are on the books, which is, by the way, what he swore to do when he got inaugurated.
Right. Yeah, he's doing exactly. Again, Affordable Care was a spending allocation that was applied, and again, it was only for a 10-year spending allocation at that point. So if the Congress is going to renew it, then they're going to renew it in 2020.
Good luck with that, and that's why the 2020 elections. I mean, we're right now, of course, we're worried about the midterms, but 2020 is going to be at least it's exciting. if nothing else, at least it's exciting. I mean,
they're all exciting.
Well, I think President Trump made them all like more exciting, a little, more exciting than I would like, frankly. But
the end result was good.
Listen, for sure, the end result was good. But I'm like, dude, quiet, shh. Some days I'm just like, I wish I could, do him like I say to my students. I'm just like, shh, you're doing good work. Shh, just be quiet. don't say anything. It's gonna be fine. And he is. Gene Jones said in the chat that he's doing what we hired him to do, and I completely admire that. And I will say this: I also completely am thrilled that he is not shy at all about putting God in his speeches and glorifying God. I think that is something that was missing, woefully missing, in the Obama administration. So I am thrilled to see that, and it makes it worth it.
Absolutely.
It certainly does. Now, when we come back, speaking of expiring executive orders and expiring legislation. Well, it's not really legislation, it's really just an executive order. I'd love to talk to you about your position on DACA, because I'm sure that affects all areas of Florida, and however that turns out is probably going to have a significant impact on your district as well, I would think.
Absolutely. It will affect every part of the country is going to be affected by DACA, and so it's important that we have, that we fix it once and for all, and address it. Indeed. I agree with you 100%. We're up against the break, so we'll be back in a couple of minutes. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. I am your business diva, Melanie Collette. My guest today is Scott Sturgill. He's running for Congress in District 7 in Florida. We'll be back in a couple of moments.
Who likes paying taxes? Nobody. That's why Eva Rosenberg from TaxMama.com wants you to pay less of them. Read Small Business Taxes Made Easy and learn how legally hiring your spouse and children can slash your taxes.
They can still hear you live on Facebook.
Plan that minimizes taxes. The benefits of setting
up an exit plan.
how to avoid getting
About
audited,
15
and how
minutes.
to legally increase your deductible expenses with better record-keeping techniques. Don't let the IRS squeeze you out of every penny. Visit taxmama.com. Click on Ask a Tax Question to get free answers to your tax and business questions. That's taxmama.com.
My name is David Barnett, and I've been helping people buy and sell small and medium-sized businesses since 2008. So far this year, I've gone on 5 vacations. It's because I've got my own business. When you get tired of being managed by someone else and you decide that business ownership is right for you without the risk of starting your own unproven enterprise, then come over to businessbuyeradvantage.com. There are over 100 YouTube videos on buying and selling businesses that you can watch for free. That's businessbuyeradvantage.com.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show. Also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcast. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch River Common Sense Show hosted by Jersey Joe right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hey guys, this is Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show. Check us out every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network.
And this is Sackhead Clint, as the best looking one of the bunch. It's my duty to remind you to check us out on our YouTube channel.
And don't forget to check us out on the SHR Media Facebook page. The best looking one? Really? You gonna go there?
Every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific, right here on the SHR
Voters' Choice.
Media
I have the award right here.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
This is Sam on SHR Media. You can listen to my new show starting on Tuesdays in January. Get my perspective on national politics, a conservative's perspective on California politics, the latest in the war on terror, all of that and a lot more here on Tuesdays at SHR Media. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Sam_SHR Media.
Okay, we are back. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. I'm your business diva, Melanie Collette. My guest here today is Scott Sturgill. He's running for Congress in District 7 in Florida. And before we went to break, I asked Scott about DACA, and I just wanted to get, your opinion on how you think it's going to go, what you think possible solutions are. What would you like to see happen there?
Well, I'm glad with it. We didn't allow DACA to shut down the government again. I think we were all outraged a few weeks ago when the Democrats were willing to shut down the government and not allow our military to get paid in order to protect children who are here illegally. So I'm glad that we have obviously got past that, got our military spending passed so we can get our military paid. But again, we need to bring all sides to the table. I think we need to stop allowing the Democrats to use DACA as a bargaining chip and actually get something done. So we need to bring both sides to the table and find a comparable solution. Because it's not fair to, for people who are trying to enter the country legally and go through the actual process to be kind of bypassed by DACA, which is, allowed obviously, children to be, children who arrive here to go through and bypass everyone. It's not a fair solution. So, I think, it's going to take, people being adults in DC and actually addressing the problem and finding a solution that works for everyone.
Indeed. Now, are you good with the DACA people staying here or getting citizenship? Like, where is your line? I feel like everybody has kind of like their own set of rules.
I think they need to go through the same immigration process that someone who is trying to go they need to go through the same process as everyone. There needs to be a one way, not someone bypassing the line. So again, we all have a heart. We're all compassionate, but again, I think the process needs to be the same for everyone, not special process for special groups.
I agree with that. I agree with that completely. I was talking about that the other day, and there are people who don't have close proximity to the United States, or were not able to fly there the one time that they flew here and just overstayed their visas. And there are tons of people who are in that situation. And I think what Americans resent the most is kind of being told that we're these evil people for not accepting people who broke the law.
Right. We're made to be heartless for allowing people who have broken the law, to try to, that they should get a free pass. No, it should be the same rules for everyone. Equal justice for everyone.
Yes, it should be. Let me ask you. So they didn't use the recipients this time, although Nancy Pelosi made it a point to do an 8-hour speech to make sure that she emphasized the fact that DACA wasn't being taken care of with this bill, that the DACA recipients weren't taken care of with this bill. Which, again, listen, as one of the things that has come up as an African American is that people are like, like Black folks are starting to look around and say, nobody ever stood 8 hours for us on the congressional floor, and others, but they're standing up for people who are not here legally. Like, what is going on? So.
Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of read your angriness, especially after, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer's, antics over the last few weeks. I think a lot of different people are raising their eyebrows and thinking, why weren't they there fighting for me? Why are they fighting for folks who are illegal? Yeah, at some point we should be taking care of our American citizens first. Again, if you think about why we've gotten ourselves into so much debt around those, is we take care of other countries. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for us helping other countries, who are depressed or having serious issues or who need protection. But again, at the end of the day, we need to make sure that, our own citizens are taken care of first before we start engaging in other places. And let's make sure we can actually afford to do it.
Well, can we really afford to do it? What do you think of things like, providing free education for those recipients and those kind of special financial carve-outs that American citizens don't tend to get?
Look, at the end of the day, we need to make sure we take care of the American citizens first. Again, we're all compassionate, for people who have maybe are escaping, a bad country. But again, I'm not for giving people free rides. I didn't get a free ride. I don't think you got a free ride, Melanie. Again, we've worked hard for what we've gotten. I've done that in the business world. We didn't take any government handouts when we started our company. When we started our company, we were, sometimes it was, we didn't take a paycheck for months at a time because we had to make sure that we paid our bills first. And so, again, we're all compassionate, but at the end of the day, we need to make sure we take care of the USA first.
For sure. Now, I want to ask you about one more topic, and that's the stock market and the economy. The Trump economy and how much you feel the economy is attributed to, the policies that President Trump has put in place, how much you think may be cyclical. What is your perspective on that?
Look, I think sure, the last week the stock market has been a little shaky, but today finished up pretty good. We finished up thing a few hundred points up. But again, the overall economy is doing well. I think when most people look at their 401k or their retirement accounts or their savings accounts, they're up. I mean, they're making money this past year since Trump has been in office, and I think a lot of it is a renewed energy in the country of, what, we're growing. He's doing a good job. His administration is doing a good job. We're actually putting America first at this point, and so I think people are, they're spending money in the economy. They're, companies are expanding. Obviously the new tax reform package. You see how many companies have given these bonuses out. I think it's over 300 plus companies I've seen now who have publicly announced that they're giving bonuses. Even though Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats want to call these crumbs, well, that's $1,000 is still $1,000. That's, and for most folks who middle class who are living paycheck to paycheck, that goes a long way. So while maybe crumbs to millionaires like Nancy Pelosi, it is real money to the average consumer.
That is stunning that either one of them would say that. I heard that Debbie Wasserman Schultz said similar, that it wasn't really all that much money. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but if I find a $50 bill on the ground, I'm still pretty happy about it. It's not a whole lot, Look, I always tell my kids, look, you see a penny on the ground, pick it up. And they go, well, Daddy, what if it's turned up the wrong side? Isn't that bad luck? I go, no, it's better being in my pocket than, in our pocket than, being on the ground. I try to teach my kids, hey, be frugal. Money doesn't grow on trees. Don't be bypassing something just because you don't think it's worth you picking up. Pick it up. Exactly. And they seem to have this disconnect between the facts that it drives me crazy, the media, the narrative, and what the left does with these types of things. Because I heard actually.
We have these Washington politicians who are all very wealthy, and it's amazing how on these government salaries, how they've gotten extremely wealthy in the decades that they've been in D.C., serving their constituents. But it's amazing that they want to talk about how they're there to represent, the poor people or middle class. Well, are they really representing them? No, that's just their ploy to keep themselves, in office. Again, this should be a temporary job. For me, I'm a big believer in term limits. 12 years is what I feel like. That's all we're going to do is 12 years, and then we're done. But again, we need to get rid of these career politicians because their policies have spun this country into a direction that we don't need to go, and it's going to take a long time to recover it. But it's going to take some new elected folks who are going to actually make tough decisions and not worry about their next election. So that's why myself and other business people that I know have put their hats in to run for Congress to, again, make tough decisions. And, again, we don't really care about the next election. We're there to get the job done. And again, if we do a good job, the voters will send us back.
That's exactly right. And, who knew that hiring a businessman for president would have such an impact? Like that we would not really understand what it was like to have someone in the highest office in the land that did not have those political conflicts, and how freeing that is from a political standpoint, from a decision-making standpoint, from a policy standpoint. So
and again, he doesn't. That's the breath of fresh air in D.C. is the fact that you have a businessman who is not worried about polling. He is worried about fixing the economy. He's worried about getting jobs back to Americans and watching America grow and succeed. Again, it's a nice breath of fresh air, and I know myself and fellow business owners appreciate it all day long.
It certainly is, and we definitely need more of you in there to give your voice, to lend your voice, and to not have all of these conflicts, so that you're able to actually, you don't owe so many people that you can't do anything. And now Congress is at a stalemate. So, we need more people like you to go ahead and put your hats in the ring. So I appreciate that. Campaigning is definitely tough. Politics is tough. It is not an easy thing on a congressional level. I can't even imagine. So, so how can people get in touch?
It is like running a totally separate company. But again, it's worth it at the end of the day. Yes, we'd love for people to kind of follow us and get in touch. They can follow us at ScottSturgillForCongress.com, or follow us on Facebook at Scott Sturgill for Congress, or follow us on Twitter at Scott_Sturgill. Love to have, again, their prayers, their support. It's a top 5 race nationally. It is the I-4 part of the I-4 border, so it's going to be a lot of attention on this race. But it's something that the race that we can take back, and we can beat the Democrats, and again get some business leadership back in DC.
I love it, and I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. And I am certainly wishing you the best of luck this upcoming race.
Thank you, Melanie. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. You have a great night. I want to thank everybody in the Facey chat. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. You guys totally rock, and all of your comments very helpful. I want to thank everybody at SHR Media, High Place Pundit Talk Radio Land. Thank my sponsors, Eva Rosenberg, the Tax Mama, taxmama.com. She answers your questions for free. And David Barnett at businessbuyeradvantage.com. By the way, Tax Mama, Eva Rosenberg, has a new book coming out this month called The Trump Tax Plan. So keep your eyes open for that. Thank you guys so much for being here. And Michelle Assad is going to be, she used to be a counterterrorism, undercover counterterrorism agent, and she's coming out with a new book. She will be back on Money Talk with Melanie on Monday, so I want to make sure that I definitely mention that. Very excited to have her back on the show. She is awesome sauce, and she's going to be back on the show on Monday. I want all you guys to have a fabulous weekend, and remember, all of this is very important because after all, it is your money. Have a great weekend.